In the studio by SABC Digital sports producer Sipho Kekana. Sipho, good morning and welcome to AM News.
Good morning, Marumo. Thanks for having me.
What a thrilling season it was for you. What were your highlights during this season?
I think it was an exciting season. Until the last minute of the last game of the season, we were just, we had our fingers crossed. Some of us wishing that Swallows does not get relegated. Well, you have those who were wishing that Amazulu were going to survive the chop as well. And then you also had the Chippa United fans hoping that they survive, and they actually managed to survive. And Swallows, it was good that they managed to qualify for the playoffs. At the top of the log, it could have been better. It was also interesting, but it could have been better had we seen Mamelodi Sundowns not drop those points, crucial points. That
5-0 loss to Bloemfontein Celtics also played a huge role. But let's talk to the issues around Sundowns. Where did they go wrong, failing to defend their championship?
I think their defense actually let them down a big deal. They seem to play some very good football, especially with the likes of Teko Modise. Going forward, they looked very good. They were very offensive, but they conceded some goals that cost them points. That's why Kaizer Chiefs were able to actually wrap up the season with about 3 games to go. But I think it could have been a different story had they had a more formidable defense. I mean, that's how Chiefs won the league. A very strong defense, and if you don't win, at least get a point.
But I think speaking of Chiefs and a formidable team that they had, yes, they had that. But now let's also look at the amount of goals they scored. I mean, for them to win this championship, there weren't many goals. I think they scored about 43 points. And also looking at the leading goal scorer in the Premier season this year is of course a Bloemfontein Celtics player, Lamola, with 13 goals. I mean, you look at the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, he's already on 42 goals, Lionel Messi on 40, and our leading goal scorer is just scored 13 goals.
Yeah. You see, now we were talking about the exciting season. Now, when you're bringing those issues, you are actually we have to talk about the negative side of our football. And the fact is that, in fact, it was Mweketi Sikula at Free State Stars who scored 14 goals. Yes. It just goes to show the low level of technical standard in the country. It's disconcerting, looking at the fact that these are the players that we expect to conquer Africa. And when you look at the number of goals that the top goal scorer has scored, it's worrying going into Africa. It's one of the reasons why we keep failing. In 87 matches, yesterday Neymar has already scored 50 goals. Between Neymar, Suarez and Messi, in 127 matches, they scored something like 102 goals. Impressive. Yes.
But now, when it comes to us here locally, could it be that we're producing more good defenders and goalkeepers than we get to produce the lethal strikers that are clinical in front of the goals?
It's a combination of issues. You look at Kaizer Chiefs. Chiefs won the league because they applied the no-risk approach, where you rely mostly on your defense and rely on transition football, counter-attacks, and your set pieces to get those goals. It's all about making sure that you do not concede. So that kind of mentality is not very productive. It does not allow for any team or strikers to get those goals. Yes.
Now let's also look at the bottom of the log, where now Amazulu, the X has actually landed on them. They are gone. Swallows, they're going to play the playoffs. What are the chances of Swallows really coming back?
It's very sad. We crossed our fingers for them to actually survive the relegation yesterday. But looking at the last couple of games, and especially the game against Ajax and the game against Celtic, those games were a matter of life and death. They gave it their all, but still they were not good enough to win those matches. They got the leading goal against Ajax, and they gave away the lead, and they lost the match.
Ajax came back to win against them.
Yesterday, Chiefs did well to score 2 goals against the Chippa United, reducing the goal difference between them and Chippa United, and they had to win that match by three goals. They still couldn't. So it means they have serious issues. There are serious limitations in the Swallows team.
But I mean, you look at Swallows. I mean, look, the average player that's playing for Swallows is probably 28, 29. I don't know. Could that be the problem? Because look, they're still playing with the likes of Belle Nomvete. They're still playing with Lerato Shabangu. Those are seasoned players who've been around for a while. Nomvete is already 37 almost now, if not 38. But what does that mean for the team going forward?
That's one of the main factors why they failed, why they have failed. Because as much as they had the experience, you still need those young players to actually make those runs, and you understand. So going into the playoffs now, the morale is down. They will most probably come up against Swallows and Black Leopard in the playoffs. Teams that have tasted well. Yes, and they've tested PSL football before. They are hungrier. Obviously, for them qualifying for the playoffs, they will be in high spirits. What about for Swallows? They shouldn't be in the first place. The morale is down. So even if it was not for Black Leopard and Cosmos, whoever Swallows was going to face in the playoffs, it was going to be a problem for them.
Now let's talk about the coaches. I mean, Stuart Baxter came in here a season before this one that's just wrapped up yesterday. He went all the way. I mean, he led the log for almost the entire season until Mamelodi Sundowns snapped them at the final point. But now, the next season, which is this one that was wrapped yesterday, he went all the way to win the championship. What does it mean about our local coaches here in South Africa?
What it means, Marumo, it means that there's still a lot of work to be done. It does not mean Stuart Baxter is the Messiah, or perhaps the best that Chiefs could have got from abroad. It actually means in the football that we have here, if you are able to apply the no-risk kind of football, which is obviously dependent on those transitional plays and set pieces, you are almost guaranteed success. And I mean, you can also look at how before you hit prices on Stuart Baxter, why are we not able to compete in Africa? Why do we have average foreign-born players coming to the PSL and actually dominate while they are not even in their own respective national teams? It speaks to the low level of technical standards in the PSL.
Sipho, we almost ran out of time, but just before I let you go, do you think Kaizer Chiefs next season will be in a position to defend this championship again?
Look, if they keep the same approach, Itumeleng could leave, but I think they still have what it takes. But SuperSport also with Jeremy Brookie, I think had he actually started the season with SuperSport, it could have been a different story in terms of the title race. So they are also a team to watch out for in the new season. That's
Matsatsansa Pitori. Sipho, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Of course, that was SABC Digital sports producer Sipho Kekana helping us unpack the season that was. Still on the ABSA Premiership, let's now look at the rest of the results from yesterday.